Good morning again, everybody. Good morning. As you might have seen, the title that I gave to this Novena talks is Live Like a Saint. And so what I'd like to do is this. Over the next 9 days, I'd like to highlight for you 9 different characteristics that we find in the life of many of the saints. You know, as Pope Francis reminded us this year in April, saints are not perfect people. As Pope Francis reminded us, saints have their flaws and they have their weaknesses. But what makes a saint is simply this. They choose one virtue, just one, and they live it in an extraordinary way. That's how you become a saint. By just choosing one virtue and then living it in a heroic way. So, next 9 days, 9 different virtues. The first one. Well, let me tell you a story. I was a young Franciscan. I'd only been in the Franciscan order for about 2 years. And I was having a really bad day. I was very, very discouraged. And I can remember going to see a priest and telling this priest, you know, Father Don, I'm seriously thinking about leaving the Franciscan order. I just can't do it anymore. Well, Father Don looked at me like I was from planet Pluto, and he looked at me and he said, "What are you talking about, Albert?" And I said to him, "I'll tell you what I'm talking about." I said, "You know, St. Francis would go out into the woods and take a walk, and he would hear the birds chirping, and he would fall on his knees in adoration of the God who had created the birds. And I said, you know, St. Francis would see all the beautiful wild flowers growing, and he would bow to them in homage of the God who had created them." I said, you know, I go out and I take a walk, and I come back with bird poop on my shoulders and poison ivy. I said, I don't see God in any of it. And that's when Father Don gave me the first virtue. He looked at me and he said, "You know, Albert, God does not want another Francis of Assisi because he's already got one. But what God does not have and what God would love to have is just one Albert Haase of New Orleans, Louisiana." And then he said the wonderful words that set me free. He said, "Albert, find your own path to holiness. Follow it and never apologize for it." That's great advice. Find your own path to holiness. Follow it. And never apologize for it. As Pope Francis told us on April 9th when he released that wonderful document on holiness, Pope Francis says to us, don't get caught up in imitating the saints. Because if you do, you might miss your own unique path to holiness. Find your own path to holiness. Follow it. And never apologize for it. And the reason why you don't want to apologize for it is this. You know, my friends, you and I are a little bit too obsessed with what people say behind our backs. You and I are just a little bit too obsessed with what people think of us. This obsession that we have with the opinions of other people, this can really cripple cripple you in your unique path to holiness. Find your own path. Follow it. And don't ever apologize for it. Because each and every one of us is called to holiness in our own unique way. God does not want me to be another Francis of Assisi. And if I tried to, I would be discouraged. God does not want you to be another Mother Teresa of Calcutta. You trying to be another Mother Teresa? Good luck with that. No, listen. What made Mother Teresa of Calcutta a saint was she simply did what God called her to do. And she did it. She found her own path to holiness. She followed it. And despite all the criticism she got for it, she never apologized for it. So the million-dollar question is this. How do you find your own path to holiness? How do you find it? Well, I'll tell you how you find it. Listen to your life. Because your life is the megaphone through which God speaks to you. In the people who come into your life, in the situations in which you find yourself, in your deepest feelings, and in your most creative thoughts, God is speaking to you. God is speaking to you in that little nudge in your conscience. God is speaking to you when you suddenly feel coming out of nowhere this desire to be a little bit charitable, to be a little bit generous with someone on the street. Listen to your life, because your life is the megaphone through which God will reveal to you your unique path to holiness. So today, just for today, find your own path. Follow it. And never apologize for it. And the way you're going to find it today is by keeping your ears to the ground and listen to your life. May the Lord give you his peace.
Amen.